And
problem.
until then, okay?
Okay. All right then.
Excellent.
Hey there, taters. What's up? Sorry for about 2 minutes late. We were back stage like talking shit. Hey there, tater. Okay, hold on. I'm hearing some feedback. Who
Someone's got to turn down their volume.
Zach, turn. Let me see. Is that Zach doing? Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see.
Okay, let's start this out so that everybody understands. I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit. I'm from the north. Obviously, Tree is not from the north. And
I
for
am
the
from
last
the
6
north.
months,
I grew up in Washington, D.C.
that's not the north. That's still south of the Mason-Dixon line. It's still not the same thing. But and besides, I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit here. For
Okay.
6 months, Tree is like my close friend. And I honestly thought that she was calling y'all taters because she has big boobs.
No!
Honestly, because that's the only way I've ever heard that expression used. So I honestly thought that's why she was doing it. I was like embarrassedly asked her about it a few weeks ago. I'm like, why do you call them taters? And she's like, because it's a phrase down here. And I was like, okay, good. So you're not just referring to the fact that you have large boobs.
No!
So, okay. Sorry, had to have a little confession right there.
No, yeah, exactly. Down here in the South, there's a Southern thing like, "Hey there, tater." As a matter of fact, it's even on King of the Hill, which is very Southern because it's filmed out of Texas. So, I got to stop assuming that people who are not from the South, especially international, is assuming that. They know what that means, but nobody actually kind of like asked me. They just said, yeah, okay, tater, okay, whatever. That's that.
Good to know.
I know. Okay, so now, Zach, I gotta ask a political question to Halsey. So, as soon as I get this political question out of the way, then we'll go into some more stuff where you can jump in, and then
Sure, yeah.
So hold that up. Okay, so Halsey, what was the issue with the whole let's invade Mexico?
Well, we want to invade Mexico and make the cartels pay for it. No, I was talking about immigration the other night, and I got set off pretty bad. And we were just talking, and I said, listen, if we're not going to get serious about closing the border, I think this is literally the issue that will define our generation. If we don't have a border, we don't have a country. Right. And if anybody has the right to just walk over the border and do whatever the hell they want, we're never going to be able to define our country. So I said, if the Democrats won't come to the table and won't even let us talk about immigration, then Trump should invoke the War Powers Act, and he should just send in the fucking Marines. And what we should do is we should just kick ass as far into Mexico as we need to let the Mexican government regain control over the country and actually make it a deal that half of their rejects don't want to come flooding over the border in a year. It was a very simple statement. Like, and that's mean and blah, blah, blah. I don't care anymore. I don't care how mean it is. I don't care how not nice it sounds. Having thousands and thousands and thousands of they're all kinds of criminals. They bring in all kinds of terrorists, at least because, hey, most people on the border refs there come our lands that we can continue to live with as a country. So now, if they're not going to get serious about letting us ejected.
Yeah, I don't see it as mean. I see it like, okay, well, you do understand that the United States. What's up, Truth and Sick? What's up, Truth and Talk?
Hey, sorry I'm late, guys.
No problem.
How you doing?
I don't care. I don't care if it's mean, but you do know we as the United States are already bullies. And I consider us invading Mexico as an adult beating up a toddler. That's like,
no, but think of it this way. Extreme. Which would you rather be? The one giving the wedgie or the one getting it?
Well, of course,
because right now we're the one that's getting it. So it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're being bullies. It doesn't matter. That's what being a nuclear superpower means. You get to do. You know, like it means that you don't have to sit back and wonder, like, oh, what happens if we did this? What are we going to lose or anything like that? What we need to be doing is we need to secure our border. And what our political enemies need to know is that if they're not going to come to the table and talk to us on how we can secure our border, then we're going to do it unilaterally. That was my point that I was making. I wasn't making a point further than that.
Okay.
Now, my chat might have went a little crazy after that. I have to say, this is like the most minority stream I think I've ever been on. So like,
So much diversity.
We have,
Love it.
I'm the white one.
we have an Asian, 2 blacks, and a Jew.
I'm saying this is the only thing I'm the white one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Alt-right's
We all bleed red, brother. We all bleed red. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm in.
Hey, I just want to ask. So, are you guys talking about basically invading Mexico and wiping out the corruption?
That's
Wiping
what
out the
Halsey
cartel.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
What
I
I said
thought
was wiping out the cartels.
Yeah, you know, I had that exact thought, and then I thought about what Tree was saying. I think because I came in the middle of your conversation, is that the media also will spin it like we're invading. It's going to lead to another world war, and it's one of the reasons too. The wall I think will be.
Would lead to a world war because nobody gives a fuck about Mexico, and they don't want to get on the bad side of the United States.
Well,
Seriously.
I think that there are people that will wield other countries to be like, oh look, here comes America.
Ooh, Canada ain't gonna do shit.
They don't have a
The UK ain't gonna do nothing.
Well,
I mean, they already afraid of us.
Well,
Legitimately,
also-
who would come to the southern border and join Mexico in their march against America?
Who? No one.
There legitimately is not a single country that would be that stupid.
Well, I don't
They
know.
would
but
never
you know
make
what?
it here. They
All
would
in
never
all-
get here.
Yeah.
All in all, Mexico needs to fix their own problems, and they're not going to really appreciate it until they have their own revolution. And another reason too, that the wall will be good is because a lot of people are coming to Mexico, and it's not really giving them the chance to have their own revolution in their country. It's something that they're going to have to do themselves. We can't do it for them.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. What we were saying in the beginning was that in the absence of being able to put up the wall, because our political enemies here in America are not allowing us to do so, was what I said on my show the other night, was that Trump should threaten military action as a way to bring them to the table and get the wall and get the immigration policies that we want to see. Because if not, if Mexico has its own civil war, it will probably lose. The cartels run Mexico.
But
They are
China,
way stronger than Mexico.
mainly the southern part of Mexico.
China would probably come to their defense, though. You don't think so?
Who?
China. They're very powerful, and
No. Who? I didn't hear you. Who's
China.
They can't.
They can't. First of all,
They
China
can't make it here.
No,
They can't make
They
it
can't
here.
afford it either. They can't. We are fucking them up in sanctions. They can't afford it either.
Their one aircraft carrier is powered. Launched, it doesn't matter. Towards America, it would be sunk in about 18 minutes. And their planes can't make it either. The only place they can stop and refuel to make it to America or Mexico is Hawaii. And they're not going to do it. Our entire Pacific fleet is harbored there.
Yeah.
There is no conceivable way that China could get their forces here. They couldn't do it.
Also, there's nothing in it for China to help Mexico. They're, saying it's not
except for destroying their own economy.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
Mexico has a lot of resources, don't they?
Well,
so they don't. It doesn't matter. China's not lacking in resources or people willing to sell them to them.
Yeah, but they'll just if they had a chance to take those, sure they would.
We'll give them to them.
Yeah.
If China said, "Hey, we want to get involved," we'd say, "Why? Oil, steel? What do you need?" And we'd say, "Don't worry, we got the next ship heading over there. Stay out of this one." China would be like, "Sure. Do you care what we're doing in Tibet?" And we'll be like, "Have we ever?" And then the conversation will be over. China has no interest in getting into a military scrap with America. The Chinese military is rated beneath the United Kingdom's. The only thing that China has is they have nukes, and literally, if they wanted to occupy any country, they could. If they were able to bring their forces over, that's my point. If they were able to transport their army to a foreign land, they would have the bodies to occupy. Whereas America doesn't necessarily have that for every country that they want to invade.
But there's a lot of military.
America doesn't need to.
Yeah, there's a lot of presence, a lot of militarization in many countries, and also out in the Far East too, like Guam, for example. So it's not just from the homeland. There's a lot of patrolling, and when you control the seas and all of that, you essentially have a lot of you've established yourself as a major presence to not be messed with. So
a friend of mine at the Department of Defense that I talk to about military affairs, right? Like whenever I need a comment on something that's going on with the military, or I'm an expert on Asia and the Middle East. So a lot of times I have to consult with the military before I issue a report because I don't want to be contradicted later by someone else who said, well, you don't know what you're talking about.
Got
And
you.
we're having a drink one night, me and one of my military friends, and he's a pretty high up in the military. And he said, I don't think you can appreciate, Halsey, the true power of the American military if the political will was there to use it to its fullest extent. Like, America spends more on its military yearly than the next 10 countries combined.
Yeah.
Right.
Of the 12 aircraft carriers that are active in the world, 10 of them are the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why Russia and China are spending all of their money on missile defense, because they have no ability to project power anywhere where America tells them to stop. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you think about that, when you truly internalize what America could do if it wanted to, you can consider what it could do if it just wanted to accomplish a very small goal, such as wiping out the cartels on the border. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
there's
if the
also,
political will was there to use it. Go ahead.
are they just in the border? Are there
Basically.
Yeah. Huh.
But the thing is we don't care if we push them back far enough that they can't threaten our border. Then it's Mexico's job. That's where the Mexican Revolution comes in. That's where the Mexican government decides that enough is enough. We arm them to the teeth and we say, you finish the job. We don't need to finish the job. But what I'm saying is right now they're bringing people, they're smuggling humans, they're smuggling drugs, they're smuggling weapons over our border as if it doesn't matter. And when they get here, our Democratic politicians are welcoming them open arms and saying, don't worry, no one is going to stop you.
Because they're involved in it.
What?
Because they're involved in it. It's their business. All these, you know, people.
Well, it's for votes. It's for votes at the end of the day.
It's for votes, but they're also involved. A lot of them are also involved in drug smuggling and child trafficking as well.
The child trafficking thing.
I mean, think about this. When Trump came out, I'll stop domineering the stream in 1 sec. Think about this. When Trump came out, and
look, people
stuff about
you say
Mexico.
that, people are like, "Let the Asian talk. Let the Asian talk." The black boy and the white one are talking dominating.
This is an identity politics free stream.
Oh, go ahead, Halsey. Go ahead. Finish your statement.
All I'm saying is that when Trump came out and he started saying his stuff about the wall and all of that during the campaign, who were the loudest people against him? Vicente Fox from Mexico. The Mexican politicians were basically telling him, your talk is cheap because we are stronger than you are. And we just said no, and we elected him. So at this point, I think that Trump has the ability. He has the legal authority. It's called the War Powers Act. He can use the military for 60 days to engage in war, 30 days for a safe withdrawal without consulting Congress. If he does need Congress to declare war, he's got it. They have casus belli. They have come over our border and invaded in order to wreck American civilization. We have the ability to do so. It's just a question of when we say enough is enough. Now I'll stop. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take this event. I'm gonna segue this to one more question, and then we'll get into some normal stuff in reference to YouTube, Kanye, and so. But okay, Halsey, do you have a high subscription of members who believe in QAnon?
You know what? Someone asked me that the other day.
Is that why you guys clown them all the time? Like, what's that about?
Here's the thing, and this is an admission I don't like to make. I don't really know anything about QAnon. So I don't follow it enough to I kind of think it's a scam, but I don't know enough to say it definitely is a scam. I think the fact that they claim they're all military is bullshit, because I think if military had leaks like they have, they would literally root them out by the tree. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would be gone if they were military leaking the kind of information that QAnon supposedly leaks. Now, I don't know anything.
Conspiracy theory, though.
But I'm saying there are probably people that follow me that are really into QAnon, but we don't talk about it much. We goof about it a little bit, but we've never gotten into the discussion. So we just goof on it like we do on a lot of things.
Okay. All right. So I got a question, and we'll let Zach lead off, since people in the chat are like, "Let the Asian talk." So YouTube has actually made a lot of changes. We see a lot of channels that once were big are now starting to lose a lot of views. I abandoned my main channel because it was being choked, and they have an algorithm on there to just take away subscribers, mass subscribers away from me. Plus, I've changed my position. I've left the Republican Party and decided to become independent. I'm still a right winger, but I'm now independent.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because it was it's just a whole. There's a story behind that. So here's my question to you. What now that things have changed, what are your goals? We'll start with Zach. What are your goals for the future with your channel? What do you hope to achieve, because now that with this new switch?
Yeah, I mean, aside from partisan related matters, my belief is always just going to be promoting people to understand the awareness of the values of this country. You know, constitutional awareness, things like free speech, Second Amendment rights. A lot of that are going to be aspects of American culture, and I do think it is a part of American culture, even though leftists will constantly say there is no culture in America. I think that's BS. The right to free speech and the right to self-preservation, I think, are going to be things that I will always stand for, regardless of how things are going to happen, what things are going on politically. You know, because it's always very, very common to, you know, talk about a lot of different political issues, whether it's concerning the environment or concerning immigration or everything. But if there are aspects of American culture in the Constitution that are not being enforced and are not being spread amongst a lot of people, that to me is more dangerous than partisanship. And I say that because, like, for example, with immigration, I think this is where a little bit of my nationalist tendencies come in, is that when, you know, there's nothing, I'm not against immigrants or anything, but when a lot of people come here and they don't fully integrate and assimilate, and not really have a good grasp on those values, you know, those constitutional amendments that you are entitled to, it's your right, it becomes dangerous. And it's not because, you know, they'll always vote Democrat or they'll always vote left, but it's like those are the things that America stands for, and people need to understand that. So to get back to your question about my channel or the future of it, I will always sort of, at least for now, because, you know, people grow, people change, but from where I stand, I want to constantly be making sure that people are aware of that free speech is currently something that is always being exercised. I'm always going to be against censorship, and people have a right to a platform, a right to their own beliefs, and to self-preservation, all that other stuff. So did I answer your question, or did I kind of just...
Yeah, no, you did good. Next.
Okay.
I guess, okay, I'll go. Hey,
Yeah.
What the question was, what is the future of our channels?
For your particular channel, for your, like, what are your goals? What are your goals and intentions for your particular YouTube channel, based upon what has occurred to a lot of YouTube channels in the last year and a half?
There is this.
I want to start producing more informational segments. Like, I look at people like Zach and some of the other people I've been collaborating with, and I think they do an excellent job on commenting and breaking down the news for people that you know, to make it simple by their commentary, by their emotions, by their life experiences. So I want to basically make more informational videos. I'm working on some poems with social narratives, with images and stuff. I'm learning how to edit. So I'm trying to get more like informational bites to people. And I want to start moving people away from YouTube onto Steemit and BitChute. And I really, you know, this channel started more as my best friend and I, our journey into finding out all of the corruption about the pharmaceutical industry. So I really would like to get back to that, especially I think after the midterms. I'm really gonna, I'll still do like political and social commentary, but I really want to focus more on that, because we haven't been lied to just about the political side of things, but a lot of stuff that people need to know to empower them. So I want to empower people through information and education. I hope that answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Zion King, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted. There you go.
I didn't mean that, but okay. Now let's see how bad I can piss off everybody on this stream. Okay. I've been a journalist for a long time, right? And I'm done reporting the news. There's enough people that are saying what's going on in this country, whether it be true or false. There's enough people that are just reporting the news. I started my channel to do commentary, right? And at the end of the month, we're relaunching our website. We're going to be hyper focused on commentary on today's today's news. We're relaunching our YouTube channels. We have 2 of them right now. We're relaunching Deplorable Radio and Deplorable TV so people can listen to us 24 hours a day. We've got about 20 writers hired. We've got some great broadcasters that are coming on board.
Wow.
And all we are offering 24/7 is commentary. And if any of you guys want to put your stuff on there, we have some great revenue opportunities for you. You can put your stuff on there. We won't claim any ownership. You can just play it and try to make some money with us. That's
Where's
fine.
the pissed off
But
part coming? I'm like,
I'm
this is some
getting there.
good stuff.
I literally was just taking a deep breath for it. But we were talking before about my kind of battles with the alt-right. Well, I've always considered them fun. They have no influence. They're not really the problem in this country because there's so little of them.
Right.
You know, like they're loud and they're obnoxious. But at the same time, there is really no chance that they're taking power anytime soon.
Yeah.
The left are the exact opposite. They have...
You're roboting. How's your
Better?
roboting again? There you go. Go ahead.
Is that better?
Yeah, you robot
And
they have, and then go ahead.
they have too much power. They have the ability to influence elections. Power. I'm sorry if I'm going to offend you, but if the left we do, if not more, the ability to influence in their politics, their mind, in every way, shape, form. And it looked really tired of allowing these people to define who I am, who my friends are, who people who actually give a shit about this country and the things that we stand for. I'm tired of them defining the argument. I'm tired of them telling me what I am or what I should believe or how I should believe because everybody else is. And it's a joke. It is actually a joke. We are getting banned from every social media platform there is.
Yep.
We're getting banned from the internet if we go too far. Payment platforms are now telling us they won't even let us collect our money because we're toxic in their mind. We are a threat to their multicultural, obviously fraudulent commie scheme to take over America and turn it into some kind of nonsense land where you can't be proud of who you are. I mean, people say to me all the time, well, look at where Jews have come when you were just ashes in Europe less than 100 years ago. Black people shouldn't be proud. Look at where they were 100 years ago and look where they are right now. But if you were to watch the media, they're overcome by prejudice. They're so retarded that they can't even go get a driver's license in order to register to vote. You know what I'm saying? They're so pathetic and sad that they just need to be looked after by the left and paid for and treated nicely and given a pat on the head. Look at Kanye. He comes out and he says something, I as Negro, all because he had to say, I'm not your property. You know what I'm saying? And that's where my channel is going. We're going to get more incendiary. We're going even more. We've been pretty bad so far, but we're going to get obnoxiously in your face. We're going.
Oh no! How's he?
You're gone.
Really start.
Okay, there you go. He came back. Okay. How's he? What do you have Skype or something open? Because you just went straight quiet and you froze. You were on a good rant, and all of a sudden you're just.
I know. It's like
he's frozen. He's
gone. He's gone.
No, let's see. Let's see if he's coming. He was on a good rant. He probably had some other stuff open. He'll probably fix it. Okay, he'll jump back in.
He's coming home
and everything like that. You guys, of course, everybody knows I watch. Oh, there you go.
There we go. Back. I just turned my VPN off. That should do it.
Okay, go ahead. You was on a good rant, so go ahead and
Where did I stop?
You stopped that. If you think we were in your face before, you haven't.
Oh, we're going to get 1,000 times worse. We're going to push every single envelope there is because we're tired of what we're seeing, all of us. And I don't say I speak for white people, Jewish people, black people, anyone else. I speak for me, and I speak to people. You know, if you agree with me, great. If you don't, I'm encouraging you to fight against me. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, I'm a blood sport believer. I believe that in the end, two people squaring off, the truth is going to come out one way or the other. But right now we are being destroyed by lies. I mean, look at Kanye. I think I said this before.
Yeah.
He had the courage to say one thing differently than the establishment around him. And the very people that were calling him the greatest thing since sliced bread are now calling him house Negro and all kinds of stuff like that. You don't think they say that about me? Do you know how much shit I get for being Jewish? You know what I'm saying?
What do they call Jewish people?
How did they? But hold on. What? Who? The liberals are actually giving you shit? How is
All
it?
day long, I get shit. You should see today. Someone said that a teacher of Trump's in 3rd grade said he used to give kids wedgies, and I made a joke. I said, "Wow, I didn't think I could like Trump anymore." Literally, I had 3 liberals in the comments right after that telling me my children should be taken away because I'm such a horrible person and that they were going to call CPS, Child Protective Services on me.
What?
I'm not kidding. This is what they do.
Yeah,
This is where we live
horrible
now.
people. They're horrible people.
You know, think about what they did in Portland the other day. Antifa took over the streets and was directing traffic. And if you didn't go the way they told you to, they hit your car with a baseball bat. And the mayor of Portland is saying
Where was
that's
the
a good
police?
thing. They're saying it's a good thing. They told the police to stand down.
Oh no, not another time. They love telling the police to stand down, and then everybody's like, "Oh, the police are not doing their fucking jobs." And I did a video on this when I said a video this titled "How to Stop Antifa," and it was dealing with the no mask law. And I was saying, listen, it's not the police fault. You got to understand, the police have to listen to the chief, and the chief listens to the fucking mayor. And if the mayor tells the chief to cap your man, stand down, they have to do that. And I don't understand how come the government is not punishing this shit going on with not only in Portland but Berkeley too, and all these other cities.
Austin, yeah.
Everywhere.
Because in the end of the day, they don't know how to stop it if they're not complicit. We came out with a report. We showed absolute evidence that Tom Steyer of billionaire fame is paying actors to go out there and mess with people to win elections. He's going out there and paying people to pretend to be neo-Nazis to gather data on these people. He's going out there and he's paying actors to pretend to be people's political opponents and makes assholes out of themselves so they get elected. How do you think Terry McAuliffe got elected? I could show you the guy getting in makeup to go out and pretend he was Terry McAuliffe.
I saw that episode on your channel. I saw you guys talk about that. I was really shocked that went down, actually.
And now he's the mayor of Virginia. What happens during his mayorship? Charlottesville. When all of a sudden, and don't get me wrong, there were some bad people there.
Yeah, it was some bad, but in all honesty, and you know me, I'm not a fan of the alt-right, fuck these people, but you would not have had the chick Heather Heyer die if Antifa never showed up. Let's be honest of it. Antifa showed up, they started shit, okay, and then all hell broke loose.
It's even worse than that. Go back and look at the videotape of when that guy accelerated into the crowd.
Somebody ran after him, right?
First of all,
they were attacking his car.
Yeah, he had 2 people on his car attacking it with baseball bats. Secondly, when he floored it, right? If you were aiming at killing people, what would you do? You'd floor it harder. You wouldn't hit the brakes. He hit the brakes as soon as he got near any people. He slammed on the brakes. I'm telling you, the guy was running for his life, and now he's a murderer of Antifa. This was a setup from day one. Why do you think Tom Steyer put $18 billion into Terry McAuliffe's or replacements campaign and the Attorney General of Virginia's campaign in order to make sure that those records would never get out? The lawsuits for Charlottesville, what are they asking for? They want the social media data of everybody who's ever hashtagged anything to do with Charlottesville.
To do the doxing.
Right.
And there was a helicopter, too, that conveniently crashed that would have had a lot of footage of what was going on with that situation, too.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what these people are doing. That's how they're coming for us. That's how they've decided that our opinions don't matter anymore. They've kicked it into high gear. This is what they're doing. You know?
Okay, but then here's my rebuttal to this is like, why are hence why I'm just so frustrated and disgusted with the Republicans and people on the right is why are we just laying down and taking it? When is the ass kicking coming in?
Because we have to remove the foot from our own asses before we start kicking asses around. And that's the problem. we spend a lot of time apologizing. We spend a lot of time saying, "Oops, sorry, I didn't mean that." She just brought up a phenomenal point. We have an opioid crisis in this country where now opioid overdoses are a larger cause of death than firearms in this country.
Yes.
And yet they are being 100% supplied by the pharmaceutical industry. Why is nobody talking about it?
I was in a hospital.
Hello.
You know, I had to fight those teachers the nurses to stop trying to give me morphine. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I was angry with the treatment I was receiving, and I threw a pitcher of water at one of the women, and they immediately gave me morphine. When I came out of that haze, I fucking raised hell. I said, "Don't you ever shoot me up with morphine again." And every day until I got out of that hospital, they kept saying, would you like morphine? We would give you morphine, morphine, morphine. I said, "You motherfuckers are worse than a goddamn Tyrone on the corner selling crack." You know what I'm saying?
Bro, when I hurt myself a few years ago, they prescribed me 120 OxyContin pills a month.
No.
120. You can't even eat that many and live. And they prescribed that for me. I mean, granted, I took quite a bit of them, but I got off of them just as quick. But I'm saying, like, do you know how toxic it is that when someone hurts themselves to prescribe that level of opiate?
How long were you on it? That's very dangerous. That's
about a year, almost a year.
No,
Oh my God.
and you're not an addict. Hold. I need to know,
Wow.
because I do know someone indirectly who is suffering from opioid addiction. How were you able to get out of that? That's a long ass time. How were you able to get out of that without being an addict?
Oh, I was definitely addicted to them. I mean, like I had physical withdrawals like anyone else would from it. But I just decided I was done. And I literally just locked myself in my house and I didn't go out for a few days, and I beat the shakes and feeling like I was going to die at any moment and all of that. And I just decided that I wasn't going to take them anymore.
Okay.
So it was done. I was going to die from that shit. And you know what actually got me? It wasn't that I was like looking at myself going, "Oh wow, I'm really fucked up." It was that at the end of a couple of those months, I would run out a couple days early. And I would go to the doctor and the pharmacy in full withdrawal, like snot coming out of my face, and they didn't give a shit at all. They'd be like, "Okay, wait a couple
They're
days."
trained drug pushers.
Yep.
That's why I want to get back to talk about the stuff on my channel. The SRSI drugs, the vaccines, I don't like all that stuff.
Vaccines for sure.
The vaccine, I'll argue with you till the cows come home. That I think is, I'm not an anti-vaccine person at all. But
oh, dude, we will.
We can debate it.
I'm with you, girlfriend. I'm not a vaccine person either. People don't even know that about me.
Yeah, I will. I've done so much research on vaccines. Maybe we can have a debate on your channel about it. Not anytime soon because I'm busy, but I'm going to be putting out some more videos in the future with that.
You can ask Tree. I'm not going anywhere, and any way you want to do it, I would be happy to do it, but we'll do it in a respectful way. I don't want to have. I don't want to have.
Both of y'all are respectful. That's
but I'm saying I'm not known for my respectful debate formats.
I like you. You know, everybody here I actually adore, and one thing Halsey is, of course, you all know, is like what gravitated me to Halsey is his kick-ass debating technique with the all right, and you have to come that hard with these type of guys, but when he debates against everybody else, it has been in a respectful manner. But hold on, one more thing in reference to because this addiction, because I do have interest in this because I am concerned about the opioid addiction that is actually plaguing our country now. Do you really think it was more about the fact that you locked yourself in, or it could have been that you have a stronger mentality than other people who are actually going to meth or heroin in order to supplement their cravings for the drug?
I don't know how to answer that because I don't like being intoxicated. So I don't want to like trade feeling intoxicated. Like I don't need something else to get me intoxicated in the absence of a prescribed drug. Like I barely even drink. I think I drink like a 6-pack a year.
I don't drink at all. So
I just from my experience with people that I've known, it seems like drug addiction, legal or illegal, is usually a spiritual problem and a biological problem. You know what I mean? Like a biochemical problem. Physically addicted, or you're trying to mask some trauma or some insecurity that you have, and you're kind of in a weaker frame of mind. So if you have a stronger mentality or a stronger sense of security, it seems like it's easier to kick it. I don't know. I'm just saying from observation, not from personal experience.
I would agree with that 100%.
Did you now? By the way, guys, how's he going to be leaving us in 10 minutes because he got to go to his own podcast. So I got to milk him on one more thing. So when you went to the hospital, did you actually express concerns to the doctors that, listen, guys, I need to get this monkey off my back, or do you felt that was just going to go on deaf ears because they just don't give a shit based upon your physical appearance and your?
I couldn't at the time when I hurt myself, it didn't matter. I wasn't like asking sane questions or like trying to weigh the pros and cons of what I was doing. I was so destroyed that it didn't matter. I got into an elevator accident where like an elevator, the safety catch went and it plunged with me. It wasn't like, I wasn't like saying, well, let me weigh the pros and cons of how you like treat the pain and all of that. It was just kind of like, make this stop, please. So I don't know what my mindset was at that point. I only know what my mindset was when I said enough of this.
Wow. Okay. So, okay. That sounds like you don't have an addictive personality. I don't have one either. But what's with all the vaping? Is that to get you off of cigarettes?
So I used to smoke a lot. I've been a smoker since I was 12, right? And I have a lot of kids in the house. My wife never wanted me to smoke in the house, but then she said she wanted me to stop, and I said okay. And I regretted it at the time because I didn't smoke just because like I was hooked on it. I love cigarette smoking. Like it was just, I know I'm saying I have my own faults too. And I'm saying that that was one thing in my life that I really enjoyed. And so when I quit, I wanted something that was going to still give me the feeling of smoking. So I got into vaping, but I do it as like a hobby. Like I have like, if you look, I have 1, 2, 3 or 4 types of vapes. I have them all with different flavors and different strengths. Like it's like a wine thing for me. Like I really enjoy it. So I like do it as like a hobby.
Is it like hookah?
In a sense, yeah. It tastes very similar.
Electronic hookah?
Yeah, it's pretty similar, yeah. You know, so I just enjoy it. And it's one of those things that
it's way more healthier than cigarettes. I really don't have I saw an experiment. It's on YouTube actually, where they put a bunch of cotton balls into a cylinder, and they said, we're going to show you how vaping affects the lungs in a year. And there was no residue, no deposits or any of that in the cotton balls. I was very impressed because I was like, wow, that is a much, much, much more healthier alternative to cigarettes. How in the hell did your parents allow you to smoke at 12? Because you can smell that shit. It's not like cigarettes smell. It's something you can actually get rid of. If you started smoking at 12, how come your parents didn't beat your ass?
You ready for this? I was just talking about this on a stream the other night. Not only were my parents okay with it, the high school I went to had a smoking lounge where students that if you were 13, 14 years old, you could go out in between every class and smoke. I was in a play my freshman year of high school. I smoked a cigarette on stage. And when I didn't have any because the play was about to start, I sent my dad out to get me a pack.
No way!
Like it just wasn't something that people gave a shit about so much at that time.
I'm sorry, my mouth is wide open right now.
I'm not that old either. I'm only 40. So I mean, it was just.
I'm not tripping about your age. I'm tripping about your parents being cool with it.
My parents are a very odd group. My parents are not. They were never overbearing. They never gave me curfews or like anything like that. Their whole thing was, I make my own decisions and I figure things out for myself. And if I fall, they're there to catch me.
Were you allowed to have sex in the house?
Yeah, they wouldn't care. Like, what would they want me to do? Go to a field or something? Like, I mean,
do it in your car.
I would. You don't drive in New Jersey till you're 17. How much of a nerd do you think I was in high school? In fact, I didn't even finish. I was in high school until I was 15. So I mean, and then I was in college. So I mean,
typical Jew want to brag about how they graduated so early.
Hey, you brought it up. You're the one who said why didn't.
Hey, I graduated early and I'm not Jewish either.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Exactly.
I finished school. I finished school at 17, so high
Well,
five.
he spent it at 15, so he got 2 years on you.
Oh, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like is that just a common thing for Jewish people? I hate
I
to
don't
sound
think
like that
so.
guy.
I
Well,
don't
Vince
you're
Shapiro,
Asian,
too.
so of course you're supposed to be up there with them. So
I
like,
finished school at 17. I finished
Seriously,
school, but I was also young.
Asians are supposed to go from like nursery school to Harvard. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way it's supposed to go. So let's not talk about Jewish
They
shit
have
with
no
this one.
life. They have
You-
no life.
You know what I'm saying? Although I'll tell you, I had an Asian friend when I was in high school who got caught smoking. His mother, who maybe was 5 foot tall, 100 pounds soaking wet, whipped his ass up and down the street
Oh, yeah,
in
they
front of
don't play.
all his friends like nothing I have ever seen.
Oh,
I've seen pissed off Haitians. I've seen pissed off Hispanics. I've seen parents pissed off of every race, creed, and color. I would have been afraid of that woman. Like,
yeah, Asians
seriously.
are savage.
Yeah, like she whooped his ass like he was picking on her kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll tell you, he didn't smoke again. It worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just came in next. I don't want to smoke anymore. Why? Because if anyone tells my mom or she smells it on me, I'm dead. So, like, hats off to them. You know?
Old-fashioned punishment. I mean, it's still exercised in some
Yeah, I think it's still exercised in Asians, but you know it's still exercised in the Black community too. So that's just
Whipping,
that's just
getting whooped.
yeah, get your ass.
I got whooped at Disneyland. I got whooped at Kmart, Zodi's. Well, my
Did
parents
you
did
ever
not care.
did you ever have parents that would like publicly berate you for being rude and like stuff?
Yeah, my mom did.
Okay,
give me
yeah.
fuck.
I thought I was the weird guy who had parents like that. Where like it's like if you were at a restaurant, like your dad would literally like take you outside and like scream at you.
I got whipped in front of the Dumbo ride when I was at Disneyland.
Oh
like-
no, not
Yeah.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
At least my mom would have brought me in the female bathroom and whipped my ass. But
But-
you gotta.
But you know, I was kind of just a smart ass. Like I just, you know, I also got whipped at the public at the LA County Fair because I didn't want to get off the bumper boats. And my mom was like, "It's time to go," and I'm like, "No!" My mom's like, "Get your ass off this boat!" And whipped me off the boat, like in front of people. But I mean, she didn't like physically hurt me. Like, there's a difference too between.
It's still humiliation, though.
It's humiliating. It is like,
it's
and
a
if I,
humiliation technique.
yeah, and if I had kids, I'm gonna try a different way. But I think they just knew the best. That's what they knew, the best way they knew how. But they always made me, feel like I was loved, and I don't feel like I was abused. And there are people that, but people getting whooped, and they're like, "Oh, you've been abused," and I used to think that way until I met people that were really abused. And
Yeah,
I was
like
oh.
me, I was really fucked up. Now, but
Yeah.
before, Halsey has to leave, so I want to respect his time. But Halsey, before you go, I need you. Now, by the way, I have everybody's links to their channel in the description box, but I need you to plug. How many times have you been suspended off Twitter, and do you have a new Twitter account now?
I am now on my 5th Twitter account.
God damn.
So yes, I
Man.
suspended quite often off Twitter. What I do is every time I have a Twitter account, I also have one for the news station.
Okay.
So I try to promote both of them, and then if I lose my personal one, I just take over the business one and I start another one. So, but yeah, I'm still at Real Halsey News at this point. That's 3 more since we last talked. But yeah, I still go on Twitter. I still like to go on.
Okay, so that's your.
Hey,
So that's your Twitter. You don't have Facebook or anything.
I do. I just don't spend much time on it. So I'm at Halsey News Network on Facebook. I just don't go on it that often, but I have it on my phone. So if someone does message me, I see it right away. But I very rarely spend any time on Facebook.
Hey, Halsey, let's set up a debate in November sometime.
Anytime you
We'll
want.
be in touch. We'll be in touch.
Please,
That'd be good.
just reach out.
It'd be cool. But it'd be a friendly, respectful debate. I think it'd be
Awesome.
it'd be good. Yeah.
I would love that.
Okay.
And guys, just so you know, at 9 o'clock, we're doing a live screening of Trump at War. We're going to do commentary by me, Dustin Gold, and Carrie.
And we'll be.
It's so good. I already saw
Oh,
it.
don't tell it, because I haven't seen it. We're gonna wrap this up at 8:30. So I'll send everybody over to your channel to watch that at 9 o'clock, Halsey.
Wait, 8:30.
It's 7:47 here. When I say 8:30, I'm talking about 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Sorry.
Also,
okay, I'm sorry. I need to leave in 30 minutes too. Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
if you go to my Halsey News Network channel, there is a link up for the live stream, but it's not the actual live stream. It's just going to send you over to Halsey Media channel. That's where we're hosting it tonight. So if you're not subscribed to Halsey Media, you can go over there and subscribe and watch it or whatever. Don't subscribe, I'm good. But if you go to my regular channel, it's just going to, there is a link to direct you to where the live broadcast will be. Okay. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for showing up and at the last minute. I appreciate you coming, Halsey. So enjoy, and I'll see you at 9 o'clock. I'll be there. I'll be watching. I just don't participate in the chat.
No problem. No problem, guys. Really great talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you too. Likewise.
Talk to you soon.
Zach, let me ask you something. How I keep getting a lot of people who are actually just drooling over you. Is that becoming a problem? Anytime that is seeping into my comment section and in my inbox, that has to be a problem for you. Like, I know the thirst is real, but I've never seen, I have promoted a lot of YouTubers, but I've never seen anyone so sexually fascinated with a YouTuber than you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real for a second. I think it's a couple of things. I think it's because I look like Macaulay Culkin, but better looking than him.
Yeah.
Number two, sometimes depending on the camera angle, people mistake me for Keanu Reeves, which is another thing. And it's so cool because it's just like Matrix, unplug, take the red pill. So there's so many like overlapping metaphors there. I'm partially also joking, but the thirst is definitely real until I get other people on my show who look better. And then the thirst is not on me anymore. So that's what I'm starting to do. I didn't say that earlier, but I just need to get more people for them to be fixated on, because there's a lot of comments before about it, before it was the camera angle, and that was very, very silly and sexually charged. Now it's just like I'm sitting at a table, so people are less likely to feel like they're being dominated over. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because I'm like a Chinese guy on YouTube.
I don't care. I don't care if they feel like they dominated over. I like that camera angle. I don't understand why you catering to the people who have insecurities.
It's partially also because I'm actually in the process of like moving. So moving. So there's stuff all over, and I don't do the bedside thing anymore because it's not there anymore.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. That video that you did is like people on my channel come back and say, hey, that was a great it was a great interview / conversation. Also because there was such a nice ebb and flow to it. You know, it's like when we talked a month ago or so, and it's the same with Verstein or Truth or Talk. Sorry.
You can tell my name is fine.
On here, because like it's just like when I talked to you both initially, because you two were the two who had interviewed me on separate occasions. There's just like a natural ebb and flow to it as well. You know, it didn't feel like an interview because it almost felt like I had known you guys for a while. It just like I was like, oh wow, I literally just met this person an hour ago, but they're really cool. So I think that's also partially to do with it. I think it's like there's just a nice flow, like. When I interviewed Faith Goldie earlier this week, it was the same deal. It was just like, oh, okay. It was like just really. I think it's because I just have a unassuming. That's the right word. I'm like an unassuming, not very rude type conservative person. Like I don't bash anybody. Like I'll talk about Hillary. I'll talk about Hillary Clinton on my channel, and I won't say anything bad about her. You don't have
that personality.
Yeah, it's not in me. I that's why I actually will say this on air right now. I'm probably one of the worst debaters you'll ever meet. And it's not because I don't know my shit. It's because like so much of it is like that delicate line of doing ad hominems, which is not good for debating, but like people do that and it like makes them lose. It puts them in higher footing. And I'm just like, the reason why I don't think I'm a very good debater is not because I don't know my stuff. It's just because like at some point it gets to a point where it's like, especially if it's race related or whatever, where you're just gonna have to say things that are gonna offend people. It's probably gonna hurt their feelings, right? If you're talking identity politics or whatever. And in a weird way, I can do it on a camera, but I couldn't really do it like to somebody. I just like have too much respect for people, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But it's made me personable, which I think, to answer your question about thirst or people, it's just like I'm not I don't know. I don't think the right word is effeminate. I don't think I'm effeminate. I think it's
No,
just
you're
more
not.
like
No, no. Truth is, I
yeah.
don't think we wouldn't consider him effeminate. I would just.
No.
I think he's more like you. You are the neutral type. You do not.
Yeah, I'm
You're not
super neutral.
confrontational.
Diplomatic.
Yeah, there you
maybe?
go. That's a good word. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Diplomatic.
I'm
I'm
a-
working on that.
Diplomatic.
I'm not so good at that.
I'm like a
I don't care about being. I don't give a fuck.
I think
took
there's a time and a place for it, but I don't think it's always good to be diplomatic, and I don't think it's always good to be aggressive. But I don't, you got to figure out the strategy and how to when to be which.
I think it's that, but it's also I also haven't been I haven't really, like, this is all so new, so it's like I started making YouTube videos and I was still getting over like being camera shy, which, like, to a lot of us here who are content creators, like, that's whatever, that's like that was me years ago, but it's like I was in a position where I was like, I'm getting over camera shyness, and then also having to be assertive about my views. So when you put the two together, it was also a little bit of like, well, number one, I'm still not quite comfortable being on camera, and I have to defend myself on camera, and it's unscripted. Unlike a lot of other political commentators, I'm not a fan of the, you get little clips and then you comment over it. Yeah, everybody does that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. But I tried doing a scripted video once, and it was horrible. Like, it was just like, wow, this really feels like it's really
fake.
stiff.
Yeah, I mean, not fake, but like, well, some people it's fake. I personally like people making videos in their cars and just in their houses.
Yeah.
And it's really raw, and it makes me feel connected to the American people,
That's
like
the problem also with some of these more controversial content creators is, number one, like, live streams aside where they have a lot of their conversations, I think that a lot of people also hide behind a moniker or a screen. Like, some of these very, very prominent, whether they're more red pill, black pill, MGTOW, alt-right, they it's like I've never seen their face. I don't know how these people look like, and on top of that, you just you're doing commentary over like another, like, more left-wing video. Like, I know there's so many YouTubers out there that will take like a BuzzFeed video and just tear it to shreds with their commentary over it, but they'll never show their face. And like, part of the appeal to that is like, you can get away with insulting people because no one's really going to hold you accountable to it, because you're not using your name, you're not using your face. I'm doing everything, but it's like, this is my name, this is my face, I'm a real person, and I don't chop up my videos. Now, that being said, not chopping up your videos doesn't make it better. It's just that's not really my style. So to go back to the whole way of delivering information, like, it's hard for me to just be like, yeah, I don't like this person, and then, because they're this or whatever. It's hard for me to talk about that. It's just also not in my nature. I don't like.
What you was about to say? You about to say something? Truth to talk.
Yeah, sure.
No, yeah, but I think it's a responsibility, or it's a sacrifice that you make when you put your face out there. You're going to have to also, and your name and your voice out there, because people are going to attack you. They're going to make videos making fun of you. And there are a lot of people that can dish it out, but they can't take it. So, if you're going to put your face out there, you're going to have to be prepared for people to make fun of you, come after you, maybe even attack your family.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Aren't you afraid of that, where they know they actually got your face, they know your real name, and they can find you easily? Isn't that a concern of yours?
Always. It always is. But that being said, even though there's that risk involved, there's something very real about connecting with somebody with an actual face. And I gotta say, like, I got this advice. I mean, I connected with like red pill YouTubers that are not necessarily political red pillars, but even like other red pill folks like Richard Cooper and like a few of these other people who were like very, very competent businessmen, professional businessmen. They had their own jobs and everything. And there's something about like, it's like, on the one hand, yeah, it's more risky if you put your face out there online. But here's an interesting thing. I think you're more likely, from what people have told me, and you can debunk this because you guys are probably better versed on the subject, but you're actually more likely, I think, to have people come after you and uncover your identity. If you hide behind a screen, a moniker, and you're out insulting people, then if you're just trying to be real with people. Now, I know that's a very optimistic way of looking at the internet, but I'm where I am now, and I will be honest, like I haven't really, at least hopefully, knock on wood, like I haven't had like any like serious shit happen. And the people at my work know what I do. That's another thing. So I'm fortunate about that. Like there's some people in the chat asking like, yeah, we can't do this because of our jobs. Well, it's like, number one, my views aren't really that extreme. And number two, I'm not really insulting anybody. I'm not trying to create beef with anyone. I'm not like saying, hey, these are the 10 reasons to, you know, hate Richard Spencer. Or these are the 10 reasons why I think, you know, Andy Worski sucks. Like I'm not doing that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people jumpstart their YouTube solely from just like mirroring other people's videos and doing commentary. Like so many YouTube
Jeff Holiday
have started just creating drama. Like a lot of these people is like, hey,
Yeah.
dude, I don't even know who you are. It's
And
like, well,
I'm
you do
surprised.
now.
I'm surprised that those people are still on YouTube. There are people that all they do is bully people and make fun of them, and they have, you know, a lot of subscribers, and there's which I think a lot of those subscribers are paid or like sock puppet accounts. I don't even think that they're all real.
Yeah.
But you know, there are people too that are deliberately there, I believe, to keep people from telling the truth, to serve as these, like, you know, cyber bullies to intimidate people too. And sometimes it works. You know, there are people that, you know, they kind of step out, they take the red pill, and then it's too much for them, so they take a blue pill for a steak and go back to sleep, or they just step back because they couldn't handle the heat. Somebody in the comment section said, having your face on the vid, it's easier to understand what someone is meaning because you get body language to read. I agree with that.
That I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe there's that temptation where people are like, who is this motherfucker? Like they can talk all the smack, but they're hiding their face and they're hiding their identity. Oh no, I got to find them. So
I mean, like, I will say this, like, I'm not insulting anyone here, but someone just like wrote internet bloodsports. I mean, there are people who have created whole streaming careers on YouTube, just like for 3 hours on YouTube, just insulting and arguing nonstop. Like all these, like, we were just talking before this started, like some of these alt-writers, it's like, I try to look for real content. Like, you know, you're referencing some articles, you're talking about things that you've done research on. But some of these people, the more extreme right parts of YouTube, from my knowledge, and correct me on my ignorance if I'm wrong, they just like, their channel is just all like 4-hour-long live streams where there's like 5 or 6 people and they just go at each other. Some of them, sometimes they'll find some common ground, but they just go at each other for hours, and it's like, who's gonna cuck first? You know, like that's the loser. That's literally like some of their shit, and it's like, wow, there are people who will watch this stuff and like, hey, I mean, you do what you want to do. I'm gonna, if you want to exercise your free speech, your platform, go ahead and do it. But that's the thing, is like, for movements like that, it's hard for me, and for YouTubers like that, it's hard for me to connect with that or even consider some of the talking points when it's so noisy. It's not that the content itself is bad. It's like the way you're delivering it sucks.
It has to fit it has to fit your personality. Internet blood sport is going to always appeal to people who need an outlet for their frustration, for their anger. Okay, they don't go to the gym and let it out in weights. They don't do anything. They don't participate in sports that's going to let it out doing exercise. They, you know, you can't let out but so much anger playing Fortnite. Okay, so therefore, you know, when you actually look at internet blood sport, it's actually like watching a verbal MMA fight. And a lot of people live vicariously through a lot of fighters, boxers, and people who want to kick ass because they actually need a way to release their anger. And a lot of times they would love to see people get their ass whipped. I personally, now I'll tell you this much. I personally would love, you probably guys don't know this, but I would love to see some centrists beat the shit out of a couple of right-wingers, you know what I'm saying, that are on our side. That I would pay to watch that shit because I personally can't get to these right-wingers. Candace Owens.
Yeah, I've had it.
and I would fucking pay.
Well,
money
she needs to be exposed. That's her deal.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Politicon has set up a debate where Miss Kyle Kalinske, and David Pakman was going to debate against Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Guess who backed out of the fucking debate?
Candace Owens.
Yep.
I hate David Pakman though too. He's a horrible fucking.
But yeah, I don't like neither one of them motherfuckers. But listen, this is why I'm talking about internet blood sports will always be in high demand.
People love it.
I hate David Pakman. I hate Kyle Kalinske. I call Kyle Kalinske a lesbian every chance I get. But whose side do you think I'm going to be on when they debate against Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens? I'm going to be on their side. And I'm going to be like, please beat their asses. And let me just say this, as much as I don't like Kyle Kalinske, he would be a very good match to expose the ignorance of Candace Owens. That's why that heifer backed out of the fucking debate.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I would love to see further into that. And like, here's the only real criticism. I don't really have beef with anybody, but the criticism I have with Turning Point USA and some of it is that like there is a lack of that. There is a lack of real positive debate, and they're big proponents of like small business, capitalism, and government like that. And when it starts to dive into more race-related matters regarding immigration and stuff like that, Turning Point USA, I wish they did more of that. You know what I mean? Because you know why? That is where it's sensitive. It's not just about big government, small government, decentralization, gun ownership, lower taxes for businesses. Like all of that stuff is like, yeah, pro-America type values that when you go on college campuses, it's like, okay, that's good to get around. Now, when you talk about race, and you talk about immigration, and you talk about stuff, not just the social economic stuff in America, but you tie like immigrants into it and nationalism and everything, that is where you're going to even find some divides even among people and conservatives. That's why it's interesting. I mean, I saw that, I don't know, you guys probably remember, but like, what was it, close to a year ago, early January, and again, this is more alt-right, but it was just so big that you couldn't not see this, where it was like a big like all-star stream of like Baked Alaska, Andy Worski, Laura Loomer, whatever, and they're all just going at each other.
I loved that shit because I hate Laura.
I hate her too.
I hate Laura Loomer. And when they went after that bitch, I was like, yes.
I'm not a fan either. But
that bitch underneath the goddamn fucking.
I was just like, this is like the craziest stream. How did I get to the internet? Like it was just like it was one of the highest trending streams, and I think Baked Alaska was like moderating it or whatever. They had like Mr. Medicare jumping in and out. They had all these people just jumping in and out just to like chime in their opinions, and people, there were like 15,000 people watching that. Like
because 90% of them hated Laura Loomer, and they wanted to see these guys fucking verbally gangbanger. That's what they wanted to see. It was so delicious. She did dox
Mike Enoch. I will say that I mean, I'm not again. That guy is his own thing, TRS or whatever. I don't really follow that stuff, but I mean, yeah, it's like, and she wouldn't own up to it. She wouldn't own up to like posting a picture of his mom.
She doxed his mom.
Yeah, like I was like, whoa! It's not even about disagreements anymore. It's right. Like personal now.
You're gonna dox Mike Enoch's mom? What the fuck? I don't understand this shit. You know what I'm saying? But no, she's a fucked up person. Yeah. And I don't like her. No.
Is this why you left kind of like the Republicans on the right, because they're praising people like this? I don't understand how, because you can look into Candace Owens' history and Laura Loomer's history. It's not hard to find.
Right.
And the people that are her PR team and people that are supporting her, either they're incredibly stupid or they know and they just don't care. Maybe that's something that they're using to control her. But then she's being controlled, by these people.
That is used as the fact that she is Jewish. You know what I mean? Like I don't think.
Jew. She's a low IQ Jew. See, this is where I show people you have dumb Asians and smart Asians. You have dumb Jews and smart Jews. Laura Halsey is the smart Jew. Laura Loomer is a low IQ, 50-point IQ score Jew. She is dumb.
Well, she's. Well, I think her appeal is she's ballsy, but I think, but the thing is that, you know, what turned me off to her is the fact that she was found slashing her own tires and setting up her own.
Yeah, I remember that.
Setting up a Kickstarter account and saying that, like,
if you don't support my tire, you don't support me.
Yeah, oh, the left attacked me. The left attacked me. And it's just really frustrating that we're having people like Laura Loomer and Candace Owens as our thought leaders when they're shiesty shammers. You think Candace Owens like erased all those people that she had doxxed? I'm pretty sure she has that information.
She still has that database.
Oh, you know she does, you know, and there are people. So for me, and for her to deny it, and for her to get caught in a lie and still just double down, that's a sign of psychopathy.
Right.
People don't understand that. And, you know, I have friends that we've had to just, you know, agree to disagree that I roll with, but they still like, they're like, oh, you know, we don't want to cause inner fighting. I'm like, but no, these people need to be exposed because they're plants. As dirty as a left plays, you don't think that they're plants, or they're people that are opportunists, just like Omarosa. You know, if you know, Fox is paying one person a certain amount of money and CNN comes and offers them a higher amount of money, they're going to turn because they're for money and power. So they'll throw anybody under the bus, and that's what frustrates me, that people don't understand. And then they want to, you know, they want to go and they want to, you know, talk about how the left doesn't call out people, but they won't call out people on their own side.
It's so true, and that was evident literally on the internet and days apart with Laura Loomer. Like, I think there was one day where she was on that Baked Alaska stream, and then she was talking about, like, I think Lauren Southern jumped in for a second. She was like, oh, Lauren. And then, like, literally the day after, she went on a stream with, like, Roosh V or whatever.
She talked shit against Laura.
Talk shit about Lauren Southern. I'm like, I watched them. I'm like, whoa. Like, what?
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
it's like, it's so evident that you're just an opportunist. Like, yeah, you're controversial because you go after people like Juanita Broderick, and, you know, you show up at these, like, you know, Muslim rallies.
And again, views. That's all that is.
I can look past that and go, I get that. But when you, like, shit talk people on the internet, it's just like, it's so petty, and it's clear. And the tire situation, like, did it for me. I was like, I love, there was a really, really funny post of a guy who apparently knew tires, and he, like, dissected all the pictures of our car tires. Like, clearly you did this.
Yeah. Mr. Medicare did a good video about that.
I was like, whoa. Wow. Like, I didn't see that.
You know, and that kind of bummed me out, because I was like, oh, she's a ballsy, cool reporter. And then I was like, oh, she's a psychopath. She's a psychopath.
She's crazy.
Okay. Ballsy in our day and age now for these so-called millennial journalists, and again, not calling anyone out here, is just like, hey, show up at Charlottesville. Ooh, you're controversial. How about you go to the Middle East and drop yourself in a war zone? Those are people that are like,
and take off
they'll never come back.
Go to freaking Venezuela and then come back home and then tell us, yeah, that shit's scary. I'm not going out there. Oh yeah, I'm controversial. I went to Unite the Right this year. Oh, I showed up at Berkeley. I'm controversial. People kicking me and pissing on me. Like, dude, anybody can go to these domestic events, call themselves controversial because it gets coverage. When Antifa shows up, everybody knows it makes national news. Call yourself controversial. No. Drop yourself in a war zone with these Afghanistan Taliban fighters, you know, special forces, and then come home.
Venezuela is a
show up to Venezuela with a bucket of fried
chicken.
Go
to Venezuela. Go to Venezuela and do 3 months in Venezuela, living with locals and interviewing them, and then I'll have some respect for you.
Exactly.
With me, it's like, I get it. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Lauren Southern, but, like, okay, you went out there to South Africa, and you don't see all the behind the scenes stuff, but it's like, yeah, you're on the ground, you're doing it, so you know what? I can support that. I can get behind it at least. But all this, like, oh, I showed up at Charlottesville, and dude, a lot of these alt-right YouTubers, like, started their careers from Charlottesville because it put it on the map. So all it took was hashtag Charlottesville. I was there, and boom, you had, like, you know, 10,000 people following your live streams because you were there. You were at Unite the Right, you know, and it's just like, it's crazy. Like, that's all it takes. And you're right about her. Like, unfortunately, I wish there were better thought leaders, not thought like THOT, but thought, because that's another thing too.
People saying thought, THOT. I was like,
yeah, it's for real though.
Here's a question I want Truth to talk to start it off. name the top 5 big YouTubers that you watch on a constant basis, and
Ooh.
then Zach, I want you to follow behind it.
Jericho Green.
I love that guy.
Who?
I love
Jericho
that guy
Green.
so much.
Jericho Green.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look him up. I don't know who that
You
is.
don't know Jericho Green? Oh my
He's
God! Get
blowing
ready to laugh. You're gonna get
What?
like
What?
some-
Well, I mean, describe him to me. I don't know anything
He's
about
just,
him.
he does videos in his car a lot, and he's a dad, and I think he might be a comedian, but he's just he's a bit raw and raunchy, and he curses a lot.
Yeah.
But he's
So
so
funny.
on point, and he's just really informative and gives really good analogies. I hope that he goes into stand-up, because I feel like this is what like stand-up comedy is really, really missing.
Yeah.
If he's a comedian, I'll watch him.
He's
Make me
like
laugh.
off the cuff, like raw, unscripted, unedited, which I love videos like that always.
I mean, I watch here and there, I'll watch Zach, I'll watch my crew, like Conservative Mexican and Magnificent.
Conservative Mexican act like we were lovers or something. Like,
why?
Like, oh my, he act like we fucked, and then he had a goddamn breakup video that I broke up with him and shit like that. And I'm like, nigga, I don't know you. What the fuck you dedicating an entire video to me for?
He's a good dude. I like him.
He's bad, nigga.
He's a nice
I like his stuff,
conservative
though.
Mexican.
He's my homie. I like
No,
him.
I like conservative Mexican.
You need to get off of my goddamn G-string. I don't know you. Stop trying to get views off of my fucking name.
But you asked me. I'm telling you.
I'm sorry.
I kind of, but we're all so busy. I can't watch everybody else's videos.
For sure.
I watch. I like Kevin from Kevin's Corner too. But
oh yeah, I like him too.
He's a sweetheart.
Favorite.
He's a good. I mean, we've talked and stuff outside too. I've been watching. What's his name? Grindall 61. John Ward. Somebody said with John Ward. I like him too. I try to watch a bunch of stuff here and there. I probably watch more here and there. I'm subscribed to a bunch of people, and depending on the subject. So John Ward, do you know him? He does this thing where his tag is so and so just ended so and so's career, and then he does things like he'll do like a really quick, like funny commentary. His wit's really fast, so it like goes over your head, but he does like a lot of editing and stuff and makes it funny. John Ward's pretty good. I watch Sticks. I watch oh God. I mean, there's so many that I watch. It's more than Sticks, Sex and Hammers sometimes.
I think we all watch Sticks, actually.
Yeah, I want
to get since he starts early in the morning, I want to get a gauge, because I do news commentary. I want to get a gauge on what's going on in with the news on his perspective, and then I actually start doing some news digging.
Yeah, because you can do. Yeah, he's really informative. So a lot of stuff he spouts out, I'll like jot some notes down. I'll go and look stuff up and like true confirm like what he says. I like Stefan Molyneux sometimes. Like sometimes I'm really into him, and then other times he says something that's completely ignorant, and I'll unsubscribe, and then he'll do another video and I'll resubscribe. I don't know. Like I have this love-hate with Stefan Molyneux. I think if I had him as a college professor, I would probably argue with him, but still like appreciate him, because I've definitely learned a lot on his show. But then I think that he's incredibly naive about a lot of stuff too, such as the spanking stuff, and such as the race IQ stuff, and
Stefan Molyneux can eat a dick too. Okay,
yeah.
so go ahead.
There's more, but Jericho Green has really been on my mind.
I've watched every Jericho Green video.
I am going to check that out, because I've never heard of him, and the way you say he's raunchy.
And I watched John Bowen from InfoWars, and we're actually collaborating on stuff. John, he's a reporter. You don't see his face, but he does a lot.
Yeah, because InfoWars is gone, but before InfoWars left,
he does a lot of like independent reports. He's really well researched, and he's like an OG reporter. But he works from home. He doesn't like go out and stuff a lot. He used to, but he does really concise, well to put together reports. Black Pigeon Speaks, Black Pilled, what else? Oh, the Truth Factory. Do you know that?
No.
The girl that does the cat, she's really well researched. She does
a real cat?
No, she has like a cat puppet that, and she talks through the cat, but it's funny, and she's phenomenal.
A grown woman
Like,
is talking to a cat.
No, you have to see it. It's so funny, and she's brilliant. She's brilliant. I like Truth Free Media and Really Graceful, and I think those are the ones that I like. I want to actually kind of start doing more stuff like that, like Black Pilled, Really Graceful, Truth Stream Media. I like them. Yeah, but the truther. I'm gonna write it in the comments. Jericho Green and the Truth Factory.
Yeah, put his channel in the chat. Okay, Zach, your turn.
Okay. So my 5 or a few.
No, put it in the main chat. Sorry about that, Zach.
Always,
put it in the main chat.
Always, they kind of vary because, like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing: I'm a YouTuber, and we all do political and social commentary.
Yeah.
But I'll watch because it's YouTube, right? I'll watch everything, and I'm one of those people that sometimes won't watch someone regularly, but I'll binge them for a few weeks and then come back to them a few weeks later. So, like, I'll be honest, like, I used to watch a lot of, like, the typical roaming millennial, what's his face, Lauren Southern, all that. But, like, I haven't watched any of their videos in, honestly, a few months. And I've been following
Didn't
people
Lauren Southern leave YouTube, though? She left YouTube to do documentaries?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. She hasn't really been, like, 2018 has not really been a Lauren Southern YouTube year. It's just, she just hasn't done much in, not YouTube wise at least, but like recently people like Kevin Yee, but Kevin Yee's more like he's not political. He's like my bro. He's got like 5,000 subscribers, but I love the dude because we come from a similar background. He's Cantonese, but he's more like
is he Korean? Is he Korean Cantonese? I'm sorry, is this a guy
No, he's Cantonese.
Kevin, and okay.
But I went on his channel and did a stream with him. But this guy, he's not really political. Which is why I don't want to really include it.
Well, what is he?
He's like a entrepreneur. He used to be a pharmacist, but he's like a business guy, and now he just hustles on the side. I just like hearing his stories and like that kind of thing. But honestly, back to people that we're probably more familiar with. I watched Jericho Green, so I have to say I'm glad you shouted him out, Christine, because that guy is great, and he's somewhat like fresh and new as well, which is why you can like binge all his videos in like 2 days if you wanted to, because they're not really long and they're not streams or anything.
Oh my God!
Like in his car.
He was like riding his car, and he's like, people have a problem with me cursing, and I just want to say, fuck you. I don't give a shit. Yes.
Okay, I'm in love with him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I'm in love with him already.
He's like, what's that word I'm looking for? It's a compound word. Oh yeah, bullshit.
Yeah. Definitely. He's hilarious. And I think he's in the Bay. Like, something tells me that he's in
California.
Area.
I think
so. Like, I don't know how I found this out, but once you watch enough of his videos, like, I saw some, you just can tell, like, it's in inferences in his words or where he's driving. I've wanted to. He doesn't put his email anywhere. Like, I
reached out. I tried to write him in the comments too, but he hasn't gotten back. I don't know if some people don't want to be interviewed. Some people, I don't know. So I have to.
Well, okay. So there's Jericho Green. Right now, I mean, there's obviously you guys, but honestly, honestly, I haven't been watching your videos as much.
I know, but that's how it is. You have friends, you know them, so you don't watch them. You know what I mean, as much. You know.
Jefferson Lee, who I interviewed a couple weeks ago, kind of more of a smaller dude. I'll put him in the chat. Who else is there? I have to think because I kind of jump around. Like, I find myself in the weirdest places of the internet. Like, I'll be watching a bunch of like
very boring.
Huh?
Look, when Truth start talking, I go, he can eat a dick. Oh, who's that? That sounds good. Oh yeah, that can eat a dick. Fuck that person. And then when you're talking, I'm like, because as soon as you start off with Roman Millennial, I'm like, oh my God, where's my pillow?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you are still vanilla like me,
I know,
vanilla like me, you gotta kind of get into the strides. But I find myself in the dark places of the internet real fast. I'll find myself on an Andy Worski stream and just be like, "How did I get here?" But I can't stop watching. This internet bloodsports is a real thing.
Oh, do you watch what's his face? Find Your Love in Japan. He's Japanese.
Yes,
I love
have
that
watched
guy.
Yeah, no,
I love him.
I forgot. He's amazing. I'm gonna put that in the chat too.
Yeah. And he doesn't have no problem getting into black people's asses. You know?
He has.
I'm like, dude. And black people, do you know the black community and black Twitter came after him with fucking pitchforks and torches?
Yeah,
I mean,
Ocho went after that
he
guy.
doesn't care. I love him. He was like, it's not racist to ask questions about black people. What is wrong with you people? You're crazy. Like, I was like, yes, I love you.
And this is the reason why that's why I said this is the reason why I love the Asian community. And here you have this Asian guy who actually bucked against the pro-black. I mean, when you got tens of thousands of pro-blacks actually pouncing on your videos, calling you all kinds of cheeks and chungs and fuck you and, you know, fuck your stir-fried rice. And I mean, just straight harass him on Twitter and clown him in his comment section. And he goes, you know, he actually never bucks down. I respect that. I love that.
People, man, I love them. But yeah, Nobita is cool. Entrepreneurs in Cars, Richard Cooper. He's more of a red pill dude, but not red pill like politics. Red pill like masculinity. You know, we gotta be men. We need more men in our gynocentric society. But
yeah, that's true. Actually,
Pat Condell, who is hilarious. You know that guy?
I know him. Yep, that's a good one.
Are sporadic, so he doesn't put out a lot of content. But every time I watch it, it's like,
when he does put it out though, he be ponying.
It's so real.
Owning motherfuckers.
And it's like, that's the thing is that like I'm still trying to find a balance with, because here's the thing, and I'll say this on the stream, like if I wasn't in the position I'm still in, which I'm transitioning out of slowly, where I'm moving and different job or whatever, I would be a little bit more abrasive. Like I would talk more about Islam. I would talk more about that kind of stuff.
It ain't worth the strike on your channel. Don't even touch Islam. It's not worth it.
That's the thing. It's like I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about, but I don't want to end up like, you know, no offense. Like, I mean, I love Faith Goldie, but you know, like she's been banned a lot because of the fact that of her comments before. I mean,
is she on Twitter still? Did they ban her off of Twitter?
Is she running for mayor?
Yeah, Toronto. I talked to her a couple days ago. But she used to she's an investigative journalist, you know, was there for Charlottesville,
I can't watch her because I want to go buy her something to eat.
Well, you watch her and then buy her something to eat. You buy her
because she's too skinny. I can't watch women.
I was gonna live stream that interview, but I just know there's a ton of thirsty betas out there, and I just knew that everybody loves Faith Goldie. She keeps coming up and like I was okay. So I left a comment on somebody else's YouTube channel. I think it was Economic Invincibility over, and it got like 1,000 thumbs up. So my comment was like right there, and there were like 100 comments. Some people were like, "Oh my god, Zach, you're here. I watch your videos." And like literally, there were 3 or 4 comments where it was just like, "I love Faith Goldie," and I'm like, "Where's this coming from?" It's not even relevant to my comment. It's like clearly somebody like found association between me and her, and I interviewed her, and it's like. And it's on a random video that has nothing to do with politics, like from a comment that I made. That's how I know people are crazy.
They think you're trying to take Faith Goldie from them, and they just want you to know that she's theirs.
Oh yeah!
I have not seen the internet thirsts after her like crazy. Like I'm just like. Okay. I intentionally did not make a live for that.
They got them staking their claim like, we saw you interview Faith Goldie. We want you to understand that she is part of ours. 1488,
There's
motherfucker.
So many thirsty ass betas, white knights, you name it. Like I was not going to open up that live stream because it's just like I'm gonna have a serious dialogue with Faith Goldie for half an hour. We're gonna talk about your mayoral run, and you're doing a great job, and you're hustling, even though Canadian mainstream is censoring you. But it's just like, yeah, there's no way. By the way, I think I have better lips than her. Just for the record.
Yeah. I gotta go in 5 minutes.
We got 5. No, we're gonna. Actually, you beat me to it. The stream is gonna end in 5 minutes. So what I want you two to do, as you notice, I let you guys do all the talking, because I like to just basically navigate and just basically be a moderator of everything. So I want you all to basically leave And the last question I want to ask you is, like, what do you hope for the future as far as the political climate that we're facing right now, as those who are not liberals?
Those who are not liberal,
Like, you're not a liberal, right? I know you're you're more of a centrist,
I don't even consider myself a centrist. I just have some points that I have some conservative points, and I have some points that people might look at more as liberal, but I don't even consider myself a centrist, because to me, I think centrists, they just say that so they don't like fight. They don't want to upset either side.
Are you more aligned with liberals, or are you more aligned? Like, let's look at the political scale. You got the centrists, you got the right wingers, and then you have the liberals. So where is your red line at? Is it closer to liberals, or is it close to right wingers?
Well, I took that what do you call that political test that you can take online, and it put me at libertarian left.
Okay.
But more closer to the middle, but not on the middle.
So then you are not in the liberal, especially the progressive liberals.
Yeah, so I'm more like libertarian left, I guess, technically.
So those of us who are not in their clique, we understand the climate of them censoring us and everything like that. But real quick, because in 3 minutes, I want to make sure everybody is gone and go to Halsey's channel. What do you hope to rectify this year? And well, just explain, like, briefly, what do you hope to change? Hopes that change for us that are not on that side.
I want the red wave to happen so we can just everything is out of balance. The people, the liberals and the leftists are so out of control that they're not even in touch with what's wrong with this country. So I feel like getting the red wave in, getting those houses back in the people back in the house, and so we can actually get some of the stuff that Trump wants done. I want that, the immigration and all that stuff. That to me, that's a big issue right now. Is just clearing that up.
Okay.
And getting that handled.
Cool, Zach.
Sorry, repeat the question. I was reading comments.
What do you hope to change, or what do you hope to see for those of us who are not on the left, as far as, like, if you are a centrist, right wing, or whatever? What do you hope to see the political climate? The changes you hoped in a political climate in the future?
Again, I think just more outward exposure of blatant hypocrisy from the Democrats, as well as more of a actual advocacy for free and open rights. I mean, I know that's hard to say for online platforms like YouTube and all that, but politically, I think there needs to honestly be more of a emphasis on things like immigration. That really, really needs to be addressed more so. Again, not anti-immigrant here. Just there needs to be more enforcement, more border patrol. With the influx of more immigrants, like, again, I'm not against that, but without the full integration, assimilation, you may not have a Republican Party in 20 years. Now, that sounds very extreme and like, oh my God, but like Texas will go blue in the next 10, 15 years,
God,
Arizona's turning blue.
I hate Beto so much. I want to.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, you asked me that question, immigration has so much to do with how the vote works, especially with blue votes, left votes. It's like a lot of immigrants mean it's more like, that's the thing with a lot of these swing states like Florida and Arizona is turning blue. Arizona is slowly turning blue because the biggest influx of immigrants come to those southern states, and it's undeniable. Like, whether it's politically correct or not, there needs to just be more enforcement with immigration. You can call me a nationalist, a conservative, but it's true. Like, and these people, like, who will come into these states, like, I have nothing against, like, if you came in here legally, but there needs to be a bit of a emphasis on American values, and these people need to understand that, number one, you need to vote, and you need to understand those values and what you're actually voting for. Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of these people who come in as immigrants are not advocates for decentralized government or even democracy, for that matter. Like, nobody will really talk about that, but it's true. Like, I even talk to more mainland Chinese people. They are not proponents of democracy. They're just not. But if you want to come here and be a citizen, like, you need to understand that these are constitutional values. This is what makes America what it is, and you need to vote for those values. You can't just like you know, I am somewhat critical of multiculturalism for that regard. And
well, there's a difference between diversity and multiculturalism.
right. Like
That's
diversity is fine as long as, like, yeah, you can be Asian, Mexican, or whatever, but understand that you are an American and you are in this country, and these are the values that we stand for, and you have to vote for those values. You know, not just like you brought your culture with. Like, there's nothing wrong with having that, but understand that, like, those are important things. That, and the people that go through the legal process and spend years in America understand that. They know about that. They know what it took to, you know, come here to America and to become a citizen and to work and all that. Some of them actually find themselves becoming supporters of, you know, the right or the Republicans or whatever. But so that's my thing. There needs to be a greater emphasis on immigration. It needs to be enforced more so. Because, you know, this country is, like, even though red seems to still be the dominant party still in control, like, it's slowly going blue, especially in a lot of those states that heavily influence elections. So,
all right.
Yeah, blue by cheating. Yeah,
True,
you know what I
true,
mean?
that's
It's not genuinely turning blue, I believe.
I
Especially
agree with
after
you.
this Kavanaugh situation.
a lot
This
of
is
people
gonna
love
be you guys. I'm doing a live stream of the
Okay.
midterm vote, and if you guys want to hop in
Yeah,
during
we
the
should all just
stream,
pop
Okay.
in.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
have a big old party and
comment back and
just
forth.
join in,
Yeah,
yeah, go back and
sure.
forth, and you guys are
That would be
invited.
fun. All right,
Yeah.
I'm down.
All right. So thank you. I want to
Bye,
thank
guys.
both.
Come on.
Huh?
I was just saying bye. Oh,
Okay,
you're
yeah.
gonna sign off?
Yeah, I'm
Sign
saying
off.
goodbye now. I want to
Yeah.
thank both of you guys for joining me.
Of
Those of you
course.
who are, yeah.
Anytime.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
The link to their channels is already in the description box, guys. Also, remember Halsey's what do you say? What was the name of the movie?
Trump at War.
Trump at War is going to be premiering at 9:00. So, guys, the link is in the description. Go to his channel, and he'll actually transfer you to where they're going to be live streaming. I'm going to get off so these guys can go, and I'll see you guys over at Halsey's channel. All right.
Okay,
Thank you guys again for showing Lady Taters, and you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Treehouse News.
Okay, cool. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I didn't even turn this off.